That's a look back at the results of 1922's conclave, with Pope Pius VI elected after 5 days of secret ballots cast. This pontiff becoming the first sovereign of Vatican City, as it was declared an independent state during his reign. And that conclave over 100 years ago, not so very different from what will take place in just 4 days, when the College of Cardinals is locked in the Sistine Chapel. This is a centuries-old system rooted in secrecy and ritual. And with that comes controversy, conspiracy, even scandal. The upcoming conclave not exempt. Yes, it has not even begun, but the Vatican has already had to do some damage control.
No, non posso dire niente. Scusi.
Sono muto.
Leave me alone, I beg.
Cardinal electors mobbed by the media in St. Peter's Square, their silence only fueling the public's appetite for secrets and anything remotely scandalous. In the age of modern media, the ancient ritual of the conclave is ripe for conspiracy theorists and tabloid reporters. Already, Italian headlines have trumpeted one such scandal, the stubborn insistence of Italian Cardinal Angelo Beccio to attend the conclave as a voting member, despite having been stripped of the right by Francis himself, following Beccio's conviction in a Vatican court for embezzlement.
He announced that for the good of the conclave and in obedience to the Pope, he will not participate in the election of his successor.
He finally withdrew, only after senior church officials suddenly produced 2 mystery letters reportedly written by Francis before his death, reiterating the ban. The letters have not been made public. All of it could easily fit into a Hollywood plotline, but the conclave process has long been controversial.
Well, there have been some pretty disastrous conclaves over the centuries.
Perhaps none more so than the selection of Pope Paul V back in the 17th century, when a fistfight broke out.
The worst one, in some ways, came in 1605, when the cardinals actually got into a fighting match with each other, and they ended up tearing each other's vestments.
A brawl among the elderly cardinal electors over their preferred candidates, ending in broken bones. It was the only conclave where someone got hurt, but the controversies go back even further.
There are other conclaves where the outcomes were heavily disputed, either in the moment or after the fact. Particularly in the Middle Ages, there were a whole series of anti-popes, as they're called, kind of rival popes who set themselves up in opposition to the man who appeared to have been successfully elected.
Rival popes arose out of the conclave of 1378, which lasted just 2 days, but began and ended in utter chaos. At the time, the Pope's residence was in France at the Papal Palace in Avignon, which still stands, and French cardinals wanted to keep it there. But a Roman mob of tens of thousands wanted to bring the throne of St. Peter back to Italy. The crowd threatened the lives of the assembled cardinals until they elected Italian Pope Urban VI. He proved so violent, the terrified cardinals soon elected a new pope, a French one. And for nearly half a century, the church was split in two. In the 1903 conclave, the last before the start of World War I, Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph vetoed the leading candidate, which some Catholic monarchs could do at the time. It said he had a grudge against the would-be successor. Instead, Pope Pius X took over the pontificate and quickly outlawed outside intervention, giving rise to the absolute secrecy of the conclave we see in the modern era. Still, not all of the sideshows have been so serious.
There are a lot of anecdotes about cardinals simply getting very bored. The best one of these comes, I think, from 1655, when a couple of cardinals decided to place a bet that they could play a prank on one of the other older cardinals. One of them dresses up as the Holy Ghost in white bed sheets and a saucepan on his head, and sneaks into the guy's living quarters in the middle of the night, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, that anecdote leaked out to the public in correspondence among the cardinals at the time, and these days, of course, it is highly unlikely we would know any of that. What happens in the conclave stays in the conclave.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.